Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. We're now joined by head women's basketball coach John Haskins. Coach, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, Jenna.
Let's catch fans up on the season since the last time we had you on the show. The Lady Braves are now 8-14 overall and have a 4-11 mark in the Peach Belt Conference. Since the last time we talked, your team has picked up wins over Francis Marion and against Flagler on Saturday. Give us a progress report on your team as we head down the stretch.
Well, I think the one thing about our team, I do think we're getting better. I think consistency has been the biggest issue. We've played some very good games, and we've played some games where we've really struggled. And it's been consistency in a number of different areas. Consistency defensively, I think, number one, and then also score. And I think when we play well, our juniors play well. We're so young, got a lot of freshmen. And that happened Saturday against Flagler, where all four of our juniors played very well, and we had a really good win.
Well, before the season started, you had said you were going to be dealing with growing pains of fielding a young team. Has that been an obstacle for your team this year? And what have been some of the positives about working with this group from a personality and a coachability standpoint?
Well, I think it definitely has. And I think that's one of the things that has reasons we've been inconsistent is because we're young. We've got a lot of youth out there and kids that were playing high school basketball last year trying to figure it out on a college level this year in terms of both our system and then playing against really good players every night. So I think that's been one of the issues. But in terms of personalities and kids, just a great bunch of kids to work with. I really enjoy them. They're fun off the court. They're fun for the most part on the court. And they're getting better, but just a great bunch of young people to work with.
Well, the Lady Braves rank as one of the PBC's best in field goal defense teams and rank as one of the league's best in teams in turnovers per game. With a young roster, those two areas usually fall by the wayside. What has made your team so good in those areas this season?
Well, I'm kind of a little bit surprised by some of the defensive stats in particular, and I haven't looked at it compared to the rest of the league. We've always kind of hung a hat on being a good defensive team. I knew coming into the season because we were so young that we'd have some troubles at times, and we have had at times. Sometimes we've guarded very well. Sometimes we've struggled to keep people from scoring. We've given up big halves. I mean, we've given up some 46, 44-point halves, which is unusual for us. But I think we are getting better at that, and we've had some halves of games and some segments of games where we played very well defensively. I think the turnover stat, really being without our point guard from last year, and Chandrika Fuller, who has been injured, and also not having Jasmine Huntley for a number of games this year because of injuries, and playing without a point guard, I think that's a credit to our team. We turned the ball over a bit early in the season, but I think we've gotten better and better at that.
Well, your team is still fighting for one of the 4 coveted invites from the Peach Belt Tournament or Peach Belt Conference East Division for next month's PBC tournament in Columbus, Georgia. What are some of the keys for your team down the last stretch of 4 games, and what are some of the areas you'd like to see your team improve in?
Well, I think, again, just consistency, being able to score on a consistent basis. Some games we've struggled where we really couldn't score, and then other games that we just didn't guard people very well. I think being consistent, being aggressive offensively, I think, is another thing that we've tried to harp on all year, is really being in an attacking mode in terms of pushing the ball in transition, attacking the basket off the dribble, being aggressive, offensive rebounding. So I think those are the 2 areas that we'd really like to concentrate on.
Well, you have 4 games left, and all of them are on the road. Does that make it a little bit more difficult for your team down the stretch, especially as it pertains to securing a berth in the PBC tournament?
Winning on the road in the Peach Belt is very difficult, and that's something that we need to do better. We haven't won a road game in the Peach Belt this year. 2 years ago, when we had a very good team and a very good Peach Belt record, we were a good road team, and I think part of that was because we were a more mature team. We were a more upperclassman-based team, and I think that becomes harder winning on the road with young kids also. So we've just got to really do the same things that we do in the Jones Center and take that on the road and come out with that same intensity and that same concentration level. But they're going to be 4 very difficult games, but I'm looking forward to them, and I think it's a great challenge for our team.
Well, let's talk about a few players from your roster, starting with Kiera Haney in the post. She currently averages a double-double with 11.3 points and 10.3 rebounds per game, a number which ranks second among PBC's leaders. Talk about her development this season, not only as a player, but also as a leader for your team.
Well, I just think where she's a leader is effort. I mean, she's just a high energy, and she gives great effort every minute she's out there. To see where she came from 2 years ago when she only played 29 minutes the whole season as a freshman to where she is right now average and a double-double, I think is phenomenal. And I think she will continue to improve. We try to slow her down a little bit in the post and finishing plays a little stronger around the basket, but she gives us great effort on the offensive rebounding end of the floor and on the rebounding end of the floor in general, and then can score points by getting to the rim and also hitting open jump shots.
All right. Well, we're going to take our next commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking to head women's basketball coach John Haskins, so stay tuned.